Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning?
Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and thanks to the CCP and Kabam, I got an exclusive first look and kind of got to play around with Storm Pyramid X, and I gotta say, she's a lot of fun. So before I get into all of the details, I want to again thank Kabam for giving me the early access to her. Appreciate that. And also, let's go ahead and take a look at what she does. So her basic attacks deal in energy damage instead of physical, which is great, and she has a decent energy resistance. And then also she's kind of got this cool thing where if your opponent purifies a stun debuff, it's replaced with a passive stun lasting for 2 seconds. So you can kind of get around some pesky things. So she's got these pre-fight abilities known as Tempests, and this is where a lot of her damage is going to come from off of her specials. So she's got 2 that she can activate. She has the Ice Tempest and the Lightning Tempest. Now, by default, the Ice Tempest is activated unless you choose to activate the Lightning Tempest. So the Ice Tempest, you get immunities to Cold Snap and Frostbite, and incoming basic attacks have a 60% chance to glance, which means that those glancing hits cannot crit, and they deal 50% reduced damage. So that's always good. Now, the Lightning Tempest, this is interesting, and I really like this one as well, is it decreases the potency of incoming shock effects. So what does that mean? Well, you'll see it in a later video that it kind of gives her almost an immunity to shock damage. So she suffers, the shock effects are reduced by 100%, and each active prowess adds 2% chance to stun the opponent on hit for 0.9 seconds, max 16% chance. And you can do some cool stuff when the Lightning Tempest is activated. So of course, now when she gets knocked down, when she gets hit by, a special or a heavy attack, the alternate Tempest is going to be activated. Okay, so she also gains prowess. Now, this is important because for each Tempest you have active means you can gain a prowess. So you gain a prowess based on not only your power bar, but your opponent's power bar. So let's say you have 1 Tempest active, right? You've got the Ice Tempest active. Your opponent gains 1 bar of power, you gain 1 prowess. But if you have both the Lightning and the Ice Tempest active, then you gain, and your opponent gains 1 bar of power, then you gain 1 prowess for the Ice Tempest and 1 prowess for the Lightning Tempest, ergo 2 prowess charges. Awesome, I know. And that's where a lot of her damage comes from these prowess and from her specials. So basically the name of the game though is double the Tempest for double the prowess for double the damage. Okay. So her heavy attacks, that also can activate a dormant prowess, which charges from 0 to 100. So you'll hold your heavy down and then you'll launch your special. I know what you're thinking, but we already do that with Cap. No, you don't want to let go of your finger charging the heavy. So you continue to charge the heavy and then launch your special. That's how you do it for that extra bonus charges. So launching a special attack while charging a heavy attack converts this dormant prowess into a passive prowess, increasing the special attack damage by up to 100% based on how long the heavy attack was charged. So charge that heavy attack to 100%. So let's go ahead and take a look at her specials. But actually, before we do that, I know I skipped over her Awakened ability because I kind of wanted to go over her Tempest first, since her Awakened ability has a lot to deal with that. So while below 30% of her maximum health, Storm activates both Tempests. Now, I don't think this is necessary if you're going to play her offensively, but if you're going to use her as a defensive champ, you're definitely going to want her to be awakened to get that extra damage from both Tempests being active when she drops below 30% health. So let's take a look at her special 1. Now, her special 1 is when you want to activate when you have when your Ice Tempest up. So it inflicts a passive slow for the duration of the special attack, preventing the effectiveness of Unstoppable and lowering evade ability accuracy by 100%. So it's also going to inflict a Cold Snap debuff on the opponent that will also stop those pesky evaders. So keep that in mind if you have an evasion champ. Now, the special attack 2, that's where you want to activate when you have your Lightning Tempest active. Each hit inflicts a shock shock debuff, dealing X damage over 9 seconds. If the opponent purifies any of these shock debuffs, deal a burst of X instant shock damage instead. So even if the shock debuff is purified, they're still going to take that extra energy damage. Now, when the Lightning Tempest is activated, the shock damage is increased by up to 90% based on the opponent's current power, So you want to launch this when your opponent has a good bit of power, because the more power they have, the more damage it's going to do. So each prowess then reduces the opponent's defensive power rate by 25% to a max of 100. So that's always good. Now, the special attack 3. This is where the damage can really roll when you have both Tempests active. So if both Tempests are already active, Storm increases her attack rating by X during this special attack. And you're going to see here in a minute what that special 3 can do. Now, after this special attack ends and you don't have the other alternate Tempest up, it's going to activate it for 35 seconds. Now, this duration is paused while charging heavy attacks and launching special attacks. So let's go ahead and take a look at exactly what her special 3 can do. So in this video, I'm comparing some different, we've got 12 prowess charges here, launched the special 3. Now we did over 93K from that special attack. So we had 12 prowess up. So now we had 6 up. And so let's see what we did there. 36K, so not as good. And also after her special 3, she is unblockable for a shortened period of time. So now we've got 7 prowess active. And we had over almost 70K, and we still have both Tempests active. So the name of the game here is really to build up your prowess and launch your specials. Charge your heavy if you can and launch it. So there we did 83K, and then here we're going to do with 11 prowess. Excuse me. I guess that one didn't pause. Here we go. There's with 53K. So that one wasn't that great. We didn't have too many prowess, but I only like to go in against Winter Soldier when I'm trying to compare damage. So speaking of comparing damage, let's take a look at her special 2 with the Lightning Tempest activated, because if you're gonna want to launch your special 2, you're going to want to have the Lightning Tempest activated, because that's where you're gonna get the extra shock damage from. So here we go. We've got 43K shock damage. We got 3 shocks on him. Here we've got, 15K, not that great. We didn't crit there on that one. So if you can crit though, here we go right here, 66,340. Look at the passive shocks. So the more power that your opponent has when you launch your special 2 is where you're going to get more damage from as well, based on your prowess. So if your opponent has about 2 bars of power, launch your special 2, charge your heavy before you do it. And look at that special 2 right there. Over 94K. And that was when we got that extra little passive prowess from charging our heavy. So let's go ahead and take a look at the special 1, because the special 1 is useful if you need it for things like evaders. So we all know Miles Morales, right? Look at him evading. He can be kind of a pain in the butt if you don't want to just do like the 3-hit combos. So the nice thing about Storm's special 1 is once you launch it, it will immediately inflict a slow debuff. Now, this only lasts for the duration of the special, but it prevents evaders from evading the special. So it's super helpful there. And then we've got the passive cold snap on to prevent him from evading as well. So then you can just go back into normal 5-hit combos against Miles Morales and other cheeky evaders, and you don't have to worry about them coming back and punching you in the face. Now, Storm also, remember off her special 2, she has that chance to inflict a stun. Well, here you go. Now, she doesn't do a stun lock like Ronin, but she can chain stuns, which is pretty effective. So she's good for this. It is a small percentage, but it's still really good. And remember before I mentioned about her immunities? So here I'm activating the Lightning Tempest, and this is the Labyrinth of Legends, Thor Jane Foster. Now, in case you guys don't know, anytime you hit into her block here, you can get a shock debuff put on you. Now, the good thing about having the Lightning Tempest active is Storm takes 100% reduced shock damage. So does that mean she's immune? Well, kind of. You still get that debuff on you, which if you run willpower, helps you heal up. So not taking any shock damage, the debuff is still appearing, but I'm healing up from it. And so there we kind of got a cheeky little stun on Thor Jane Foster here. But this You gotta remember about the thing about Storm Pyramid X is her basic attacks are pretty weak. So all of her damage comes from her specials. So if you really want to get the damage out there with her, you're going to want to launch your specials. You're going to want to build up your prowess and launch your specials. That's the best way to do it. And you're also going to want to try to maintain both Tempests being active, because remember, if you have both Tempests active, you gain a prowess for each Tempest that is active. So name of the game is maintain both Tempests, double the prowess, double the damage. I think I'm just gonna make that like the new ringtone with her. All right, so now we're going against the Iceman that is in 6.2.6. Now I didn't activate the pre-fight ability here because the Ice Tempest is the default Tempest. So the Ice Tempest gives her immunities to Cold Snap and Frostbite. So she's great against Iceman or Icemen and those pesky Vision Arcusi? I don't know, however you want to say it. Now, unlike before when we would heal up from having the shock debuff on because of willpower, this is actually an immunity. She doesn't take 100% reduced damage from Cold Snap or Frostbite. She is actually immune to those debuffs. So, and the really cool thing I like about her, I think this is why I like her so much, is she reminds me a lot of Havoc. And you guys know that I really like Havoc. Havoc relies heavily on his specials, and I feel like Storm Pyramid X does as well. But I feel like at a rank 5, I feel like Storm Pyramid X could actually out damage Havoc with her specials, because remember, we were getting those over 90k crits, or hits rather, with a rank 3. So I kind of want to see what she can do at a rank 5, because remember guys, this is just a rank 3. So I think what I'm gonna do, gang, is I think I'm gonna grind for her in the arena. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, so we talked about damage. Now let's take a look at her synergies, because she has some okay synergies, right? She's got one here with Sorcerer Supreme where the nullify effects suffer minus 50% ability accuracy, and if you nullify her prowess, you know, that's really going to stop her from gaining damage and also going unblockable, because remember, she can go unblockable as well with the prowess. Okay, and then she's got this setup and spike with Bishop where the prowess lasts 4 seconds longer, and this is really good. You want those prowess to last as long as you can, because the first 3 prowess buffs that you gain are permanent. Any more after that expire. So the longer you can keep those prowess active, the better. And this synergy also helps to bump up Bishop a lot too. All right, then she's got Under the Weather with Storm, and this in this synergy, her alternate Tempest activated by Storm Special 3 lasts 8 seconds longer. And again, this is really important. You want those alternate Tempests to be active as long as possible so that you can maximize your prowess, so you can maximize your damage. And then she's got one here, the Mutant Agenda, which again is with Bishop, but also with Colossus and Wolvie, where mutant landed strikes during special attacks gain plus 12% attack rating. And I think this synergy is great. So if you're going to bring in Bishop to help her out with those prowess buffs, you're also going to get this extra little special attack gain. So the pros, she's got nasty special damage, let's face it. She could be an above average defender, especially because, let's face it, her special 2 is kind of nasty to evade. She's got that glancing 2 that is always great for defense and also to mitigate some damage. She's got some interesting immunities, you know, the Cold Snap, Frostbite, if her Ice Tempest is active, and then if you activate her Lightning Tempest, the Shock. So you can kind of choose your own immunities if you don't have both Tempests active. Now, she's actually not really that difficult to play or maintain the Tempests. They're pretty easy to keep going. The prowess that she gets, you can stack up to 12, or if you add Cap Infinity War to the team, she gets another passive prowess. So now you can also supercharge the prowess with the Heavy. She deals energy damage instead of physical, which I'm always a huge proponent of. She has very smooth animations to play. Now, this is just a personal preference to me. I feel like Mole Man and Terrax were kind of a little bit clunky. Terrax more so than Mole Man, and then both her and Sorcerer Supreme are super smooth to play, so personal preference of mine. And she's got great utility against evasion champs and shock dealing champs. And I don't necessarily feel like her awakened ability is necessary for offense, maybe for defense. Now let's talk about her cons. She relies heavily on her specials, and she requires an aggressive playstyle to not only keep up the Tempest, but also to keep up the prowess. Now she does rely on synergies with Bishop and Storm for, you know, the maximum damage, and let's face it, who really brings Bishop and Storm on a team? Maybe they will now, who knows? And also the slow debuff that she gets off her special 1 is kind of pointless, except maybe in very few specific situations. So now that we know a little bit about Storm Pyramid X, what do I think of her? Well, I would rate Storm Pyramid X 7.5 candies out of 10. And like I said before, I like her. I want to see what she can do as a 565 champ. So I will be doing the grind for Storm Pyramid X. But anyways, guys, that's all that I got. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Storm Pyramid X? Do you think she's going to be a fun champion to play? How do you think she would do as a rank 5 champion? Do you think I'm crazy for doing the grind for her? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.